The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. This poem is a complex poem involving the ability to make our own choices in the path of life. In the very first passage, the narrator, Robert, describes that he is alone and faced with two roads. This passage is important because it builds the theme to the poem as a whole. This theme is that every day we are faced with multiple decisions, and we alone choose our own path. In the very first passage, the narrator, Robert, describes this poem as having only one character, himself, and being alone. He refers to the character as I, and states, "And be one traveler, long I stood." In each of the following paragraphs, he is referring to himself and the decisions he has made with no outside interference. His own life's journey has brought him to these crossroads. I do admire this poem mainly for his thought and procrastination on which path may possibly be better suited for him. He thought carefully on each step and their possible outcome. When he finally decided to choose a path, he believed it to be the one less taken. Once on the path, he realized that others had walked the path before him, but even that didn't persuade him to alter his journey. There was no going backwards for him, only forwards. The third passage represents a new beginning and outcome. He would be the first to walk the path on a new day. The rest of the poem is more of a description of the path he chose. Although both paths seem very similar, their possible outcomes could have different consequences. Such is the life of every person. It's always your decision. This whole poem plots a story of someone who chooses to be different rather than appear as everyone else. He does seem to realize that he is not the only one who has chosen this path, when he states, "Both paths have been worn about the same." In the very last passage, he states, "I shall be telling this with a sigh," leads me to wonder if he did not really regret some decisions he had made in the past. Yet all the while being glad he is where he is in his life, for not being the same and taking the road less traveled by, he is content. Reading this poem so closely has made a real impact on me and the decisions I have made in haste. When we are younger, we all believe that the decisions we make today will have no real effect on our future. We plan nothing and hold only our dreams of things that may happen on their own, with no help from us. There are a very few people that try to be different and plan for a future, as he did in his poem. They spend their time planning each move and possible outcome. They may have a few regrets and be different, but for most of all, they're happy.